If you're a creator looking ahead to 2026, you've got to know, the old playbook, it's pretty much toast. So we're going to break down the new framework for success, what we're calling the Authority Engine. This is your guide to not just surviving, but actually thriving in this next chapter of YouTube.
So let's get right to it. The entire game is flipped on its head because of one single massive shift. We've moved away from this obsession with watch time, just keeping eyeballs glued to the screen, to a whole new world focused on viewer satisfaction. It's no longer about how long people watch, it's about how they feel after they watch. And that, right there, changes absolutely everything. Here's our game plan. First, we'll quickly cover the new rules of the road. Then, we're diving deep into the 4 pillars of the Authority Engine: specificity, the hybrid funnel, authenticity, and the community loop. And finally, we'll put all the pieces together and see what this thing can really do.
All right, first things first. Before we can even think about building this engine, we need to understand the new terrain it's operating on. And it all boils down to one little acronym: VSAT.
So what in the world is viewer satisfaction, or VSAT? Well, put simply, it's that feeling, the one where you finish a video and you think, wow, that was time well spent. It's the feeling that your time was an investment, not a cost. And this isn't just a theory. Reports from SocialBee and Shopify are all confirming that the algorithm is now chasing this feeling of long-term value, not just raw minutes watched.
But that leads to a pretty big question, right? Why? Why would YouTube, a platform practically built on the altar of watch time, suddenly throw out its golden rule?
The answer really is just one word: saturation. The platform is getting flooded with low-quality, AI-generated slop content. Stuff just designed to trick the old system. So to survive, YouTube had to pivot. It had to start rewarding the one thing that AI can't truly replicate: genuine, human-led value and authority.
And that leads us perfectly into our first pillar. Think of this as your shield, your defensive wall against that AI flood. We call it the specificity moat, and it's how you're going to protect your channel from here on out.
And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Scrib's 2026 Creator Report lays it out plain and simple. Being a generalist, just covering a broad topic, that's a losing game now. You have to go deep. You have to own a hyper-specific problem for a hyper-specific person.
So how do you do that? It comes down to this really cool concept called information gain. This is about giving your audience something new, something that an AI can't just scrape off the internet, because it comes from your real-world experience, your trial and error. WordStream is calling this the #1 content trend for 2026 for a reason.
Okay, so you've carved out your moat. Now you need a way to get people to your castle, right? That is where Pillar 2 comes in. Welcome to the hybrid funnel. This is a beautiful 2-part system. It's actually really simple. First, you use short-form content, think shorts, as your discovery engine. These are the quick wins, the handshakes that attract new people. Then, you guide those viewers to your long-form deep dives. That's the deep conversation where you build real authority and lasting trust.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Miraflow points out that shorts are now being treated as first-class search results. That's huge for getting discovered. But the real wealth, the real authority, is built in those long-form videos, where you share your step-by-step process. And, this is critical, you have to respect your viewers' time. Use chapters, use timestamps. Let them find exactly what they need when they need it.
On to Pillar 3. Now this one is my absolute favorite, because it's something no machine, no AI can ever truly copy. It's all about leveraging your greatest asset, your humanity. I love this chef versus prep cook metaphor because it just clicks. See, a lot of creators are making the mistake of using AI as the chef, letting it cook up the whole meal. The winning strategy is to use AI as your prep cook. It chops the vegetables, it gets things ready, but you, the human expert, you're the chef who adds the flavor, the insight, and serves the final dish.
So how do you signal this authenticity? You share strategies you've actually tested. You show the raw, messy data, not just the perfectly polished final chart. You even share the failures, the stuff that didn't work. And when your channel is clearly founder-led, when people know the human behind the help, that's how you build a brand they'll truly trust.
And this all leads us to our final pillar, the one that ties everything together beautifully. The community loop is about totally transforming your relationship with your audience from a one-way street into a two-way superhighway.
The biggest mistake on YouTube in 2026 is treating your channel like a megaphone, just shouting information out into the void. The goal is to turn it into a bridge, a connection, a place where the feedback from your community actually helps build the content you create next.
And guess what? The tools are already there. Use that community tab for what it is, social intelligence. Run polls and literally let your audience vote on your next video topic. When you do this, you stop guessing. You start treating your subscribers like advisors, not just numbers on a dashboard.
Okay, so we've covered the 4 pillars: specificity, the hybrid funnel, authenticity, and the community loop. Let's talk about the big payoff. When you bolt all these pieces together, what have you actually built?
What's the ultimate result of all this work?
And here it is. This is the whole point. All 4 pillars work together to create a channel where viewers don't spend their time, they invest it. They trust you. They know that every minute they give you is going to come back to them with real, tangible value. And that, well, that brings us full circle, right back to viewer satisfaction.
So, to wrap it all up, your authority engine is going to let you slice right through all that AI noise. It's going to build a brand that's actually defensible because it's built on you. It turns passive viewers into active advisors. And most importantly, it turns your content from just another video into a genuine investment for your audience.
And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. In the YouTube of 2026 and beyond, just chasing views, it's a losing game. The new goal, the only goal that really matters, isn't just to be seen, it's to be valued.